All right. I'm going to welcome you all to the old-fashioned Christmas Part 2.
Welcome to the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show, where hosts Brian Leverage and Jeffrey Holst pour our old-fashioned real estate advice.
Here's the thing. So, Brian's had coronavirus, so we haven't been able to record. Episodes due out right away, so we're going to do this really, really quick. So, bear with me as I introduce you to the old-fashioned real estate show and a little look back at the last time that we did this. I'm here. So, Brian, what are your 2020 goals?
Well, I think I want to lose some weight on a personal level.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm drinking right now.
Well, that's another episode. But all that being said, me on a personal level, love working with you. Keep doing the show. Want to expand our viewer audience here.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Also, more real estate deals. I think we're both very passionate about the same thing, and that's a great fit.
Right. So I have some goals for the rest of this year. Remember, we're filming in November, and this is coming out later. But hopefully, by the time this episode comes out, we'll have closed out a couple of apartment complex deals that we have under contract. So we'll have 38 more units.
38 more units.
38 more units. So that'll be good. And then I want to, going into next year, continue to increase my multifamily holdings.
Yes.
Lose weight, like you said. I want to climb to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. I actually bought my ticket today. All right, then. That was our goals. As you can see, Brian and I had some big goals for the year. I can tell you one of those goals was not to survive a global pandemic, but alas, that's what we have done. Well, at least so far, so good. Anyway, we both had a goal of losing weight. Brian's lost a significant amount of weight. I can tell because I've seen him. If you look at him in that film and look at him from a most recent episode, you probably can notice that as well. He's gotten himself a health coach and he's been working out regularly. We've also increased our multifamily holdings, and Brian has divested himself from some of the deals that he was less happy about and accumulated a little bit of cash to get himself ready for next year. I have done, I've added the 38 units that we talked about in that video clip, plus another 14 units this year. It took us a little bit longer to close on 16 of those 38 units than we thought, and we ended up closing right in the middle of a global pandemic and global shutdown. Since that time, we've been a little bit slow on bringing in new units, but currently have 30 more units under contract to close in January. And just 2 days ago, Brian and I bought an office building near us here in Chattanooga, where we're going to be renting out individual offices to people that need individual offices, obviously. So anyway, that goal went really well. And as far as Kilimanjaro goes, I did it. In February of this year, I was able to get to the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. It took 8 days total to climb the mountain and climb back down. I lost 2 toenails. It was just about the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. In fact, I would say it is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life physically. That's not the corona, by the way. It's just me talking nonstop. Anyway, so I did that. That went really well. It was a lot of fun. Did a Serengeti safari, and I'm glad I did it when I did because we haven't been able to travel since. I also released a new podcast called Last Life Ever, which we will put in the show notes for people that are interested, and that's just about living the very best version of your last life ever. And I do that one with former Old Fashioned Real Estate Show guest Jillian Sidoti. On a serious note, I want to talk about coronavirus just for a minute because I think it's important to reflect on how difficult this year has been for a lot of people. In spite of the fact that Brian and I were able to accomplish a number of our goals, personally and both personally and in real estate. We have not been without challenges. As I mentioned earlier, Brian is currently recovering from the coronavirus. We all know people who have either died or been negatively affected by the pandemic. Certainly, it's created a lot of drama for everyone involved. But there has been some good stuff that's come out of it. For example, we were required to transition the way we did our show because we couldn't get together and film. So we did a lot more Zoom and StreamYard type shows. And some of those have turned out really, really well. And so I want to play a short clip about sort of highlighting the process of bringing on this new technology.
We've got these things, like Zoom and Skype and what have you. They're not very good, but we've only just started playing with them. They're going to get an awful lot better.
It's good to say. I'm used to you guys next to each other, right? Like sitting down next to each other. So this is the world we're in.
Hello there. My name is Jeff, and this is the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show. Where's Brian?
I'm Brian.
I don't know if that worked or not, but we think it was funny. He disappears and reappears because we're really at the beach. This is not a fake Zoom background. You invest in multiple.
Lost you guys.
Brian. Well, I can still hear you. Hopefully.
I can hear you now. You froze.
All right, great. So yeah,
does it have a camera on? And I said, yeah. And he goes, oh, you're in space now. He said,
we're flying. We're like a drone.
Old-fashioned real estate show.
Hey, Brian, I think you started before the recording started, so I'm going to start that over 1 second, okay? Listen, the thing is, if they finish their drink, which you can't see because it was disappearing.
Yeah, that's a special drink.
But yeah,
just see the.
I'm
very much into multifamily.
We know how to open up so I can show.
I'm not sure if I can. Let me see if I can maybe make it so that you're. Let's see. Let's see what happens if I do this.
Wait.
I can change you to the host, and then you can share your screen. But if you kick me out, I'm gonna be ticked. Okay. The only way to stop the recording actually is to end the broadcast. So I'm not gonna do that. That's 3 months. You got a little kid running around behind you now, Jamie. That's great.
I know. Hey, buddy.
Oh, and Sylvia too. Okay. Hi, Sylvia. See, now we have guests 4, 5, and 6 on the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show, and my dogs
apologies.
are barking.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No, it's totally fine. No worries at all. Anyway, man, we're getting really professional here. It almost looks like we know what we're doing. Well, that was very interesting, of course. I'm sure that you guys enjoyed it. And I want to show you now why that's been really great. And that is we've had an opportunity to get a whole bunch of guests that maybe we would not have been able to get before. People like Harry Dent Jr., which was one of our most popular episodes ever. And if you haven't watched that, it's right there. You should probably check that out. But also people like Dr. Ian Pearson, a futurologist from Britain, good friend of Last Life Ever and the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show, Travis Bronik, and so many people. And we have so many other great guests coming up. People like Vinney Chopra was another amazing guest. We had Matt Rose, Jamie Gruber. I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, and I apologize to those people in advance for forgetting to mention them here. But the point is, we've had many guests that we would not have had otherwise. And here is a little clip of our guests.
Old-fashioned real estate. Let me give you old-fashioned. Monopoly. What happened? How did you make money in real estate? Monopoly is all about real estate, whether it be utilities or houses or condos, whatever the hell. How did you make money? On appreciation? The rents. Real estate value is its a rental value. And in better areas, it's good. And higher end, it's good, and it goes up more. And in declining areas, it goes down.
If you've been investing in real estate in the middle of the city and everybody's moving out of the city, all of the people owning the big office blocks are selling them all. For example, Barclays in London have recently announced they're going to get rid of an awful lot of their property because they can't see the point of holding on to it when 80% of their people can work from home. So, Barclays is going to sell an awful lot of very, very prime real estate in the middle of London, one of the most expensive property areas around. Lots of other big banks and very wealthy big global companies are going to get rid of their stuff too.
So I fly the drone, flying it over all the roofs. Everything looks good until I get to the next to last one. And there's a spot probably at least 100 square feet that is just basically a patch. I mean, and it's on the backside of one of these buildings. He had not disclosed that to us before. And I don't even want to say it's a patch. That's giving it too much credit. It was basically like somebody had thrown basically a tarp or roofing, like a felt over the top of shingle. There's no shingles in this whole area. So to call it a patch was probably a little, and there were several other places. And they had not said anything to us. And I said, "What's that?" And the guy was just kind of like, "I don't know what that is." And I said, "Well, it looks like the roof is messed up."
Yeah.
So guess what? Guess who paid for a new roof? Not us. So, this little guy, this little $500 worth of drone bought a new roof for us without me having to even get an inspector out there.
But essentially, the IRS allows a building to be written off over a much faster period of time by breaking out segments or components of the building, like mechanical, plumbing, electrical, landscape, irrigation, non-load bearing walls. We get into all the interior build outs, and it's a big chunk of that purchase price. The wiring behind the walls and all the drop ceilings, and I can go on and on. There's hundreds of components in the building, but it makes up probably 30% of the purchase price that we now can write off over a much shorter period of time.
It's hard. It's super hard to scale single family properties, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit. When we're talking of multiples of hundreds, it gets pretty difficult in scaling that operation with maintenance and leasing and everything that's part of the business. But with multifamily, we get a ton of synergies, right? And we really can drive the value of the property. I mean, once I started to understand forced appreciation, that concept, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do that with a single family asset. The value of that asset, right, is directly derived by the market of single family home sales, right? For a traditional, typically for a traditional, buyer, right? A homeowner, if you will. Investor might be looking at the return, but, really it's based off what other properties in that market are selling for, not on an investment basis.
And I'll tell you, if I could buy one thing in real estate, I'd buy nursing home and assisted living facilities, things that can be used for that, or companies that have that real estate. Remember, like McDonald's admit, we're not a fast food place. We're a real estate play. We bought up the best real estate around the world where people buy the most crap, and their burgers aren't crap, okay? They're the least rated burgers that sell the most. That's a classic, okay? So nursing homes and assisted living facilities are going to be the one thing the baby boomers, still an outsized generation in size and percentage growth compared to the millennials or the zillennials or anything to follow in developed countries. That's going to be the most desirable real estate in the coming decades after this crash. And I spoke for a guy, Gene Guarino, I think his name was, who helps people buy McMansions, large suburban homes in peaceful areas to turn into assisted living facilities for 4, 5, 6 clients. And you can make 2 to 3 times what you could rent out that house for by doing that with a little extra effort.
I think personal branding is so important to the point where if you're starting out, let's just say, and this would be me, if I'm brand spanking new, which I still am in so many ways, like I have so much to learn. I haven't syndicated a deal yet. There's a lot that we still have to do, but I might start documenting my beginning of like, okay, I've made this decision to go to multifamily. Start documenting that, videotaping. What are you doing? Analysis that you're doing, whatever the case may be, and just starting to put that content out there for other people to see what you're doing. Put it on a YouTube channel, develop a Facebook page, something where you can show who you are, let people imprint on you. That's what attracts deals, capital. That's what makes people like, know, and trust you. That's one thing I would absolutely do, is develop a brand in some way, shape, or form, your unique brand, and document your journey. No doubt about it.
It's so very true that we should be very, very critical, because we are buying millions of dollars. Once we close on that deal, keys are given to us. It's our baby. It's totally our baby, and that's why I really believe that we need to do due diligence on police reports, neighborhood, of course, the workplace, the jobs coming in, what's the emerging trends for the next 5 years, and then of course finding out if the property, how much different maintenance is there already before even we get into final stage of the contract. Because once we go into paying all these monies, we need to be sure that this is the deal we want. And that's how I do it. I make a decision with the numbers, but then also have the backing of what my business plan is going to be. So business plan is very important with the exit in mind. We have always heard about those things, but we need to look at the exit in mind, do the right projections, very conservative projections, also do the right exit cap rate, which is a big thing. Also the insurance and also the taxes properly put together, the business plan of the rubs or the valet trash or the parking, all those things have to go in there, right? So that you feel without any doubt that this is the bride I want to marry.
All right. Well, so as you can see, we had amazing guests. And if you haven't seen those episodes, I would highly recommend going back and listening to them or watching them. But nonetheless, they were all truly amazing. And we appreciate each and every one of them for agreeing to come on the show. Now, we have a couple of clips left, and then we're going to wrap up. So this next clip is about... it's sort of good advice that we gave throughout the year that we think is worth repeating. So hopefully you get some good advice as you start your movements towards 2021 from this quick clip. At the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show, we've spent a lot of time thinking about how to help our viewers understand different topics in real estate.
Jeff and I both like helping other people, whether it's learning or assisting them with other things on their real estate investing career path.
I mean, I think you should start investing as soon as you can, but recognize that there's a lot of risk to going into this stuff blind.
Yeah.
And by getting some education ahead of time, you can really
save yourself a lot.
Yeah, and you can definitely reduce your risk. There's a risk-return ratio, and the more work you put in, the lower your risk and the higher your return is going to be.
Yeah.
So like the more you know about the market, the better you're going to do. The more hands-on you are in your investments, the better you're going to do.
Right. You know, everybody makes mistakes, right? And it doesn't matter if we're talking about real estate or something else. But that's how we learn, right? And
Absolutely.
I think, you know, both of us probably have a few missteps along the way in different areas.
I mean, you probably more than me, but
I don't doubt that.
That's because you do more than me.
Yes.
That's the main reason. Right.
Yeah.
Because you learn that lesson. If you lose money on a deal, you're going to learn that lesson.
Right. Hopefully.
We are big fans of infinite returns. So we want to not put our own money if we can, because if you make money on someone else's money, it's even better than making it on your own. That's sort of our strategy.
You always want to try to work with people, right? You want to avoid a vacancy whenever possible, because not only are you missing the income, but you're going to have increased expenses, because at a minimum, you're going to have to get the unit cleaned prior to re-renting it, unless the person you're evicting.
And that's a minimum. Tenants can be difficult, and if you don't have the temperament to deal with tenants, then you really shouldn't be in real estate.
Right. Or you need to hire a property manager who's competent. A good property manager gives you scalability, which frees up your time, allows you to find even more deals, and thus increase your bottom line. You have to be able to confidently answer why you want to invest really in any market. And I mean, we could talk about Detroit or Chattanooga or really any place else, right? But I think you have to have, and there's not necessarily a right answer here. There's what you're comfortable with from a risk tolerance standpoint, cost of entry, and so forth. But you also have to have, whenever you're going to invest out of market, you have to have a great team in place.
If you're talking about retiring, you're financially free, you don't have to work anymore. If you're talking about that, you have to be able to build a plan that's going to last not for 6 months or a year or 2 years, but for the long term. So you're going to have to build in things like vacancy and turnover costs, and because you're going to have these properties support you over a long period of time. I think it's great to make big goals. You want to be a billionaire, you want to have 1,000 units, whatever that goal is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. But don't be unrealistic in the timeline. If you want to be a billionaire, which that'd be cool, I wouldn't mind being a billionaire, but I don't think I'm going to become a billionaire between today and tomorrow. It doesn't actually matter how you do it. It matters that you do it.
Yeah.
Because once you do that first deal, the next deal is easier.
Yeah, and my belief has always been that finding the deal is the most important thing.
Brian and I both really want our viewers to be successful in their real estate investing careers.
It's a team game. And so the more people with knowledge, we can all work together and help each other and create more opportunity for one another. When you don't know the answer,
Google it. Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you got something valuable from that advice. And I want to wrap up the show by sharing with you some funny moments, outtakes, and bloopers from the last 12 months. And I promise there's only a little bit of cussing. So if you have any children in the room, you might want to turn the volume down and or wait until different time. So here, without much ado, I will leave you with this last piece of sage advice. As you move into 2021, don't forget that hindsight is finally 2020. Enough to drink.
not at all.
All right.
Welcome back to the Old Fashioned Real
Can we
Estate
start
Show.
over?
This is Jeffrey Holst. He's Brian Leverage, and that's Cameron behind the camera.
Yeah, let's start over, okay?
Yep.
Okay. This is definitely going to be in the 2020 Christmas album. I see it already.
Christmas album?
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a Christmas album of videos. That's what we're doing.
And songs. Can't tell me. Judah. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. All right, should we set
Hold on, let me
set
pretend
the thing?
Let me pretend I'm Brian a second.
Yeah.
Is that the right eye?
The left, yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
We ready?
Oh, yeah. We're going to start when it gets to 1. There's no time, Rod.
I was going to say that. I'm like, I'm looking at the bad eye, so I'm not 100%.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's over there.
Yeah.
You're not my father. And I'm not Luke.
Job.
From now on, I want only pictures of me from here to here. Is that done?
Like sword on.
No, what we could do, we could just take his head and put it on the side of my shoulder here. It'd be like the man with two heads.
You're a crazy liberal. I understand. It's okay. No, you are. It's fine.
You're wrong,
We're
but that's
good.
okay. We still like you.
You're allowed to be crazy. It's fine. Global warming, bitch. You want to take us in, or you want me to?
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of the Old Fashioned Real Estate Show.
Oh, sorry, I was giving you rabbit ears.
Yeah, this is...
Good Lord. You just ruined my perfect intro. You got to stop that shit.
What are some real estate horror stories? Yeah. Oh, I could dive right into that one.
I got it, man. We got this done, all right?
Yep.
All right, we might need to do a whole episode on things that went wrong.
On horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things that went wrong.
Real estate horrors.
No. Those exist too, I'm sure, but...
If you use this on B-roll, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay.
Which means you're going to use it, right?
I'm going to save it for the Christmas blooper
Christmas
reel.
episode?
Yeah.
You are. I was going to be a professional baseball player, but then I was the catcher in T-ball and failed. That's not a lie. That's a true statement. I was a really bad catcher in T-ball.
Peace out.
Whatever.
What up, blood? And
we're starting over. We're not allowed to say that. We'll get a whole bunch of people in trouble if we say that. If that ever ends up anywhere, I'm killing you. We cannot put that on the internet.
Yeah.
I will fire you if that happens, just so you know. That's never
just email
on
it to
there.
me. And then
That's
you
never,
got cover.
If that happens, you're still getting fired.
Woo, boy. There's so much that could be used against us here.
Yeah, we got to keep Cameron on our good side. I'm just saying.
Let's talk about a raise.
Yeah.
No.
That's right. Cameron, we're going to give you a raise from $8 an hour to $10 an hour.
That's a lot.
Oh, you're right. $9 an hour.
Cheers.
All right.
Well, that turned into a little bit of a shit show at the end.
But I think we can make it work. It'll be all right.
Oh, and Merry Christmas to you all. Butch Cameron, you can put that at the end of the outtakes. Well, I'll try it again. You can put this whole thing at the end of the outtakes. It'll be like a transition from the outtakes to Merry Christmas. Brian and I would like to wish every single one of you a wonderful Christmas and a happy new year. Thank you and have a great day. I hope you enjoyed our show.